If you're a human, you can't help but have subjective biases. No one is strictly objective. How could we be? We each have our history, culture, and above all, our individual emotions and hopes. Who could reasonably claim to be neutral, unbiased, and objective? Actually, anyone, because that's how we feel. Feelings are overwhelmingly convincing. When we feel strongly, it doesn't feel like feeling. It feels like the truth revealed. That's the paradox of subjectivity. Subjectively, we feel objective, as if what we see is what there is. This sense of objectivity comes intuitively to us all. We feel like exceptional realists who tell it like it is. We may claim to be humbler and more self-doubting than that, but when we feel strongly about something, our guts tend to take over, convincing us that they aren't taking over. We passionately, fervently feel like we see reality with calm clarity. How can I make such a bold, sweeping claim about us? Perhaps because I feel strongly about it. You might want to call me on that. Calm down. You're getting emotional. Your bias is showing. Good. Now think about how you'd respond if someone said that to you. You probably wouldn't say, you're right, I'm biased, thank you for your objective observation. Rather, you'd find it a pretty aggressive comment. That's why I make this bold, sweeping claim, because accusing people of emotional bias is widely regarded as a threatening move. It escalates arguments. When we start accusing each other of bias, we tend to get more emotional while insisting that we're not getting emotional and just stating objective truth. We intuit that we see reality objectively, and when we encounter someone with a different sense of reality, it takes hard work to relax into mutual curiosity. We tend instead to think there's something wrong with them, as if anyone who sees things differently is biased. Indeed, as if their biases prove that we're unbiased. Our subjective emotions motivate us to start pulling rank as if we see clearly and they don't. It's interesting that we don't have a word for our subjective impression of ourselves as objective. I'm going to call it objectivizing. Our fundamental subjective biases compel us to objectivize, to act as though we're realists. Objectivizing tends to increase as arguments heat up. We start saying or implying things like, you're not seeing the whole picture, that's irrelevant, and you're not making sense. We compete over frames of reference. The more prolonged the argument, the more we tend to escalate into what's called frame dominance, as though only our frame matters because ours is the real frame. We reach for the judge's chair to preside over an argument in which we're merely advocates. We start blowing our referee whistle at our opponent, calling foul as though we're not competing in the game but overseeing it. Our opponents do the same. At the extreme, it becomes what I call an infallibility death match, an emotional fight over who's objectively right and who's objectively wrong about everything, a fight in which the slightest error entitles one party to claim perfect objective infallibility. Objectivizing drives all claims to what's called revelation, an emotion-driven sense that the truth has been suddenly revealed to us, as though we have seen the light and gained God's omniscient perspective. Objectivizing starts and inflames many conflicts. It's one thing to say, in my opinion, you're getting defensive, and quite another to objectivize with an on-high diagnosis. You're defensive, or why are you getting defensive? As if we are the neutral authority entitled to psychologize our opponents as though we know them better than they know themselves. Or conversely, to objectivize with, don't tell me how I feel, I know how I feel, like we're the objective authority on how we feel, and no one can interpret our behavior otherwise. Yes, we know ourselves most intimately, but feelings make it difficult to be objective about ourselves. Since objectivizing is incendiary, we have ways to keep society civilized and tolerant. A new one is allowing everyone their truth, as though there are multiple objective realities. That way you don't just agree to disagree, you live in separate realities. Live and let live is easy when you don't have to live with each other, but we do, and with reality too. We don't just have to get along with each other, we have to also get along with reality, which is totally indifferent to our opinions about it. Reality wins all debates, and we lose when we don't interpret it correctly. We may align ourselves with people who share our objectivized opinions, but if we misinterpret reality, we die together. While there's much debate about what reality contains, there's little or no debate about the container itself. We all agree that reality contains all potential, direct and indirect, threats and opportunities that we can't afford to ignore. It takes hard work to get unbiased about reality. The challenge is to be realistic about what matters, including how unrealistic people tend to be. Many people believe that supernatural beings and forces are contained within reality. To them, there are real threats, for example, hell, and opportunities, for example, heaven, that we can't afford to ignore. They feel it to be true with great passion and are therefore unbiased authorities on what those supernatural forces and beings demand of us. That's where science comes in. Contrary to popular belief, it's heavily biased against objectivizing. It's the alternative, an anecdote to revelation. While individual scientists might objectivize like they've got the unbiased God's eye view, as a system, science pits ideas against ideas. Scientists are rewarded for contradicting each other and fighting it out based on natural world evidence, not supernatural claims inspired by revelations. A religious or spiritual person might objectivize as though they've humbled themselves before the Lord and so are entitled to lord their truths over everyone. A scientist can't get away with such shenanigans for long. And if they do, when they die, science will continue on, open to proving them wrong. Religions might objectivize that they've discovered the ultimate truth, no need for further evidence or debate. Science only claims the best guesses so far, to be beaten by better guesses should they come along.